Hey everybody, welcome back to the Rebel Chums channel. Today I wanted to talk a bit more about the truth about Electrum Sabercraft. And I've not been making videos about Electrum Saberscraft for a while now, and I got a lot of comments from you guys about, hey, why you forgot about Electrum Saberscraft, or why nobody mentioned Electrum Saberscraft, etc. And I'm gonna delve into that and give you a few points and reasons, and yeah, basically go over what I think about Electrum Saberscraft as it is in 2019, which is, well, a month away from 2020. So let's go. First things all is I want to say, why is Electrum Saberscraft not getting as much attention as some of the other brands, as, let's say, a Saber Trio, a Vader's Fold, Pastor, Wonder Force, Vader's Fold, Saber Force, Ultimate works, Ultra Sabers, and that is because the partially marketing from their end. I don't think they're out there as much as some of the other brands. Also, um, I think they have a bit of a mixed reception of their hilts. That's partially because they are having groundbreaking technology in their hilts, and they were like they were the first ones to come with the touch screen or the touch sensitive switch, and with every generation that touch switch setup becoming better and better and better. But it's a really important factor to state this, and that is, in the beginning it worked not fantastically. If you check out my reviews, you can see at times I'm a bit struggling with some of their hilts designs to engage and trigger certain motions or effects and turn the saber on and off. And with every iteration of the Tyrion soundboard, if I say that, the Tyrion, I mixed up the name of their soundboard at the moment. I'm really sorry if I butchered that. I'm really bad with pronouncing English words, and sometimes it breaks in my mind. I know how to write it, I just can't pronounce it properly. Um, but that's with every iteration of the soundboard and firmware upgrades and whatnot, the interaction with the touch switch becoming better, but it's still not 100% perfect, and it's a bit of getting used to. Sometimes some people will see it as a bit of a chore to do certain things to engage certain effects or turn on the saber or turn off the saber. Now, it has been greatly improved, as I said, since the early stages of the early production releases of their hilts that has that touch screen, a touch sensitive button. But sometimes it's still not 100% there. So, uh, bluntly said, a AV switch, like a regular light up switch that you find on all the other Saber brands like Saber Force, etc., that have a soundboard, is just easier to operate. It's just easier to operate. Okay, but the touch switch has a lot of options going for itself that allows for more customization, more features, more motions, etc., that you not can do with a regular switch because it's just on or off. So that's one thing to distinct the features that Electrum Saberscraft have. But because of some of the experiences from some of their customers, it not has been super positive at certain times for certain customers, for a small portion of their customers. So because of that, I don't think Electrum Saberscraft is getting the full attention they deserve, because I think they're fantastic people and I think they have fantastic products. It's just that over time that product has been developed better and better and better, and it just sometimes happens when people get a certain exposure to a certain product in a certain early stage, that they in their mind already write that brand off if it doesn't check all the boxes. So in that case, they don't like it as much as, for example, another brand, and that's why they don't continue anymore with said brand, as in this case Electrum Saberscraft. But the fact is, Electrum Saberscraft, their lightsabers are beautifully crafted, high-end quality. You get a full package. You get so much out of the lightsaber. They use quackery LEDs, but they don't run hot, as for example Saberforce does, and they have the full RGB scale, including the white LED. So you have a lot of different options there, or you can go, of course, for NeoPixel. But you get a lot for your money, like a lot for your money, and that is something to be said. They're also the first one that I know with a production app for a long time now that actually works flawlessly. Their iPhone or Android app works really good with the Bluetooth functionality of the lightsaber itself. So those are really awesome features they have going for themselves. And as I said, the lightsaber designs are beautiful, like the Evo Flex, beautiful hill design, absolutely gorgeous, like really fantastically gorgeous lightsabers. Full package, Delrin chassis, all that good stuff. Like it's really high end stuff. But because some of the early mishaps they had with their soundboards and it's just not always super responsive and whatnot, that withholds some people from looking into them. Another thing I noticed is every saber company outside of the US is struggling more so than a company within the US to get exposure, etc. Because the biggest offset of markets is people from the US. That's where Star Wars is born. That's where this originally Star Wars comes from. So people in the US are more national thinking. Because America is so big, they don't really think about international purchases as much as some other countries do, like Europe, or other continents do, like Europe and Asia. Because of that, the biggest offset market is looking more inwards than outwards, and that's why these smaller brands outside of the US getting less exposure, etc. Because yeah, logically, I can understand that you first want to purchase something that is made of your own country, of course, and support your fellow countrymen. I can totally understand that. So I think that also plays a part. But I do hope that with this video I can make clear that Electrum Saberscraft has high-end quality lightsabers for a very affordable price. I highly recommend purchasing from them, but you do have to understand that sometimes you have to play a bit with the touchscreen switch. There will be times it doesn't really respond as well, although it's changed a lot. It's a lot better, like significantly better than in the beginning stages. But sometimes, sometimes I mean like really occasional, like once in a blue moon, you might have an issue with the touchscreen not responding the way you want. The first flick, like a flick up, turn on the saber, that maybe not work, and then the second one is fine. Or the lockup sound, sometimes this keeps hanging on the lockup sound, you want to turn it off. That sometimes might happen, but what you get back is something that's really awesome, a technology that makes really sense on lightsabers instead of having an ugly ass, I'm sorry for my language, AV switch that you can find in every electronics, real life electronics that we know of. It just looks ugly as sin, and yeah, it just doesn't belong on lightsabers. And the big companies using them a lot, Saberforce, Vader's Bolt, Ultra Sabers, I wish they really stop doing that, because it really takes away from the immersion with a lightsaber. So Electrum Saberscraft does an amazing job by using that touch switch, which is really awesome in my opinion. It's just sometimes that technology, because it's relatively new to the market, because nobody else does that in the custom lightsaber community or as a production model. So yeah, sometimes you have to play a bit with it. It's not horrible at all. Like the way I portray it may look to you like, oh, it's a bad flawed product, etc. Honestly, it's 99% of the time it's perfectly fine, but sometimes you might have that one hiccup. It's really minor, but it does happen at times. And I think that is one of the things that that might affect the popularity from Electrum Saberscraft at times, because it's just a different way of operating a lightsaber, and it's different than the norm, and maybe people are just so used to a certain setup that they just don't want to change. That might be the case, which would be a complete shame, of course, because as I said, the guys at Electrum Saberscraft doing a fantastic job. They have fantastic products, high-end stuff, high-end installs. Everything is in-house made, so it's just fantastic. But because these little things that might affect their popularity at times. So whenever people ask me why I don't talk about Electrum Saberscraft as much, that isn't because honestly sometimes they're just not on top of my mind, because I'm just looking at the things that are most popular, right? And the most just across the board, what is most popular, and then you get these kind of saber companies as Saberforge, Vadersfold, also Sabers coming back and over and over and over, and that's why the first thing that crossed most people's mind. That's where it comes from. Now, of course, from time to time, I will talk about other options out there, but it's not going to be every video that I'm talking about all these other saber companies that do fantastic work. But I did already review quite a few of these companies' lightsabers. So you have already a wide scale of lightsaber reviews on my YouTube channel that you can look at and make your own decisions from. But yeah, I think that's a bit of the bottom line why I am not always talking about Electrum Saberscraft. It's just simply because of their popularity within the US, and because within the US they gravitate more to brands within the US, and that is the biggest viewer count on this YouTube channel as well. So I do have to take that in consideration, of course. What is my target audience? And I love to talk about Electrum Saberscraft. I love to recommend them, etc. But not everybody is the switch. Their switch design is not for everybody. That is also I want to get at. It's not everybody's cup of tea, and I sometimes lack patience. So sometimes for me, that lack of patience is, even if it's a microsecond, it's just enough for me to get annoyed with certain things. And if something doesn't work always flawlessly exactly as I want to, or it always works flawlessly exactly as I want to, and then one time it doesn't work as I want to, then I might be that that little one single time it doesn't work is the one that sticks in my mind, and then I get like an opinion about that. That happens. I think that also happens with Electrum Saberscraft at some points. Again, I love their lightsabers. I love their products. I think they're fantastic. I think they're high quality. I think that the switch setup they have now is greatly improved over the first early production models, and 99% of the time you won't have any issues, but it might sometimes happen on a blue moon that you have a switch not responding exactly that moment as you wanted to. So that's the thing I wanted to convey. But yeah, I do wholeheartedly, without any issues, recommend Electrum Saberscraft to anybody. Honestly, they have really good stuff for the price what you get. It's just a really good balance between what you pay for and what you get in terms of the electronics and the installation and the hilt design and the hilt finish, etc. And the speed of delivery, the communication, the quality of service. It's all top notch. But it's just not everybody's cup of tea. And that's because partially of the technology used, and they operate outside the US, and it's just having a bit less attention than some companies that operate within the US. That's just I think that's something that's just, yeah, it's just there. I don't say it's determining factor either, because there's plenty of saber companies outside of the US that are doing good as well. I just say it's overall that whole combined package makes certain brands a bit less popular, a bit of an underdog, but really well worth to check out and get a saber from. They're really a hidden gem, in my opinion. So again, I really praise Electrum Saberscraft. I just spill it out as I think it is, and I want to know from you guys, how do you feel about me conveying this message about Electrum Saberscraft? Do you agree, or maybe you don't agree? And tell me in the comments why. It's really important that we have an open discussion about this, and then I can make follow-up videos as well and amend my my opinions. If people convey me to having really solid points that makes me think, hey, you're right, I should have seen it from that angle or this light, and now I agree with that or maybe disagree with that. And maybe somebody else has some really good points against or in advance of the brand and the technology, etc. So that's my little video about the truth about Electrum Saberscraft. I always can full-heartedly recommend them. I have no quarrels recommending everybody Electrum Saberscraft, but I do understand that the Switch is not everybody's cup of tea. So that being said, hopefully this video was informative for you. Thank you for watching. See you next video. Take care. Bye bye.